Right, so in terms of the order and sequence of setup, start with the feet together, okay? But put that golf club now at a diagonal across the sort of direction your left thumb points, and hold the club in that left hand as you're doing there, like so, okay? So you grip it in the fingers nicely, get the sort of 2 knuckles visible, like you are getting this position here now. Very good, very sound grip, okay? It's definitely going to help you control that face long term, okay? Make sure that when you do it, those feet together, they're not separated apart, or even set to position again. Because if you set them to position, you'll go, okay, the ball's there, let's put the club to the golf ball, okay? In terms of down the line, we just discussed your posture. Okay, you're not going to see much of your posture here. Now, if I sort of go to there at setup, and then go to this one at setup when you set to the golf ball. Okay, so your practice swings. Okay, there you go. Just in terms of where your head is up relative to your chest, head's a bit higher, okay? Arms are looking a bit more kind of in front of you here, as opposed to kind of over here somewhere, because you're not kind of hunching down this way, okay? So getting in a better setup will certainly help that, okay? Once your spine angles over the ball and your pelvis was tilted down better, this right hip can turn around the corner, okay? What you did, partly because of the movement of your setup, as you swung back, you can see your hips there and your knees sliding through that blue line, yeah?
Yeah.
But the sort of shimmy shake there with the hips and the knees, going off to that right side, because that causes your spine to go this way and tilt to the golf ball. Again, hitting the ground from there is kind of going to happen, but you always got to try to miss the ground a little bit, okay? This movement here now in a better posture, get that right hip to turn out of the way. You can see hips turning now much better. It's space there from that blue line, okay? You've got to think when you're doing that, the arms will get nice and high, and I wouldn't maybe go back quite so far, because you've got a lot of freedom, and like, well, hey, I can go up here.
Yeah.
It's like the same when we moved your hip position, your left foot, for whatever reason, was like, oh, I can actually move now, well, hey. So it's making sure we control those movements, okay? A little bit less hip turn, a little bit less shoulders, will be a little bit less ankle rolling. I mean, that would be sort of enough hip movement there and foot movement, okay? Club can now work back a little bit higher there with your arms. You go a little bit too far.
Yeah.
But even so, that's a more powerful backswing. Your hips have moved more effectively, okay? You've rotated better. As you then come back to the golf ball now, good strike of the ball as we can see, and a nice sort of release through to the target as we come through. From this one now, when you sort of swung back, you have to sort of slide your hips back and forth into the golf ball. Yeah, you did all right on occasions, but the consistency was always a bit kind of like, not sure what's going to happen. And then your through swing looks a bit hunched this way, yeah, kind of as you sort of set up with your head sort of forward and all tucked up here and sort of very sort of stuck in with your body and very restrictive. That one there, it's a different sort of maybe perspective. That one you just look a bit taller and you're kind of extending up nicely rather than sort of like hiding behind your hands, kind of follow through. And again, from a health perspective, obviously being tall like myself and you are, so if when you finish a golf, there's a sort of roundness in your back or your hips are moving in an incorrect manner, you're putting joints in your body in different sort of undue stress. So when you play 2 or 3 sessions on the range or 2 games of golf, you'll come to me, oh, my back's really sore. And I got guys who come for lessons and it breaks my heart. They sort of say, oh yeah, I took my 2 tablets today in case I get a bad back. I'm like, you're popping ibuprofen in case you get a bad. It's like, that's not the right way to be going, to be fair. Let's just fix your back and fix your golfing in the first place rather than like play golf that way with a potential pain. But yeah, if we can get that hip turn, okay, we can get a much more consistent movement. If your setup sequence is better, and we'll go through again now, sort of summarise in the video. Start with the club behind the golf ball first. Once you've got the grip with the left hand, once that club is behind the ball, then you put the second hand on the club with that sort of spine angle we talked about there, with a sort of hip tilt and the shoulders underneath, and then from there set your feet last. The last thing you set are your feet, and you just set them to comfort. If you start off a bit too close, doesn't matter. You can go grip, shoulder under, get yourself over the ball. I feel a bit too close, okay. That feels better. Okay, if I start off too far away, a bit too far from the way, okay, I'll just move in closer. But as long as that club is next to the ball, you know the golf club starts by the ball, you know your hand's on the golf club.
Yeah.
So get them correct and then work around that. You put your feet first, it's a good guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not as good as other people, maybe because you're new to the game, but it will be a guess all the same. And you said about inconsistencies. If you're setting up to a different spot every time, you're going to get inconsistent results. The same swing with 10 different setups give you 10 different shots.
Yeah.
Okay, mate, makes sense?
Yeah.